Hi and welcome to our YouTube channel. My name's Emma Elizabeth and I'm going to be showing you our brand new Velvet Vision palette. I like to apply my moisturiser first, making sure our skin is nice and hydrated, ready for application. Next I'll be using from our digital complexion range 012 and 011. I always like to lift up my brow first. This is so that we can stretch the skin out and really make sure we are getting into any creases. Then I'll buff my brush and cover the lid entirely. I'm always feathering out my edges so we don't have any sharp lines. We're doing the same process on the other side, starting from the middle portion of the eye and just working our way to the outer corners. This is so that our eyeshadow has something to stick to and gets the best colour payoff. I'm going to be using the Velvet Vision eyeshadow palette to create our look today. Using the shade Velvet Plum, I'm going to start by creating my shape. You want to make sure that you're pressing on your eyeshadow to really make sure you get the best colour payoff. I like to do this in a V shape along the lash line, really making sure that I'm getting in between those lashes so we don't have any skin showing. Then I can start to create my V by bringing that up into the crease of the eye. I'm not too worried about any blended edges just yet. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the best colour payoff. You'll notice that I'm using a tapping motion. This is so that you really build up the pigment. I'm always making sure my brush is evenly distributed before applying, pressing all of that pigment into the eye space and then into the crease. Once you're happy with the intensity, you can then start to blend out your edges. You can do this by using a clean brush. You just want to start to buff this into the skin, dragging it slightly out to the temples and back over into the crease. Using a small amount of the same colour, I'm just going back in to intensify. Apply Mauve Berry to the crease of the eye. I'm going to be patting on our colour to make sure we have the best colour payoff. So patting it into the crease and then a soft blending motion just out towards the temples. Next I'll be using our deepest shade in Warm Truffle. I'm just going to be running this along the lash line just to make the lashes look thicker and fuller. Once I'm happy with the intensity, I'll just go back in with my 8906 brush just to make sure all of our colours are nice and blended together. Next I'm going to be using Satin Mauve over the whole lid. This is a really pretty dusky pink which will pair perfectly with the colours that we've chosen today. Again, I'm always making sure that I am pushing the product into the skin first and then I will slightly buff out my edges. Not taking it too far into the matte shades as I want to keep those matte and keep this part shiny. That's nice, that's cute. Making sure the brush is completely covered, I'm now using Caramel Silk just in the inner corners of the eyes to brighten up the whole look. I'll also be using this into the brow arch, always making sure I'm pushing my colour in to really intensify it. Now I'm going to be using the Digital Complexion Concealer just under the eye so our eyeshadow has something to stick to. You always want to make sure that you're really gentle around the eyes as this is the most sensitive part. Using Mauve Berry, I'm just going to start to press that underneath the eyes. I like to take it about halfway and then blend it into the outer corners of the eyes. We're going to be using Satin Mauve just in the inner corner of the eyes. We'll add to the middle portion of the eyes to the very inner corner. I'm going to be using Caramel Silk and just blending this into Satin Mauve. If you get your client to look at the ceiling or something to focus on, this will help them with any flickering in the eyes. Now using Velvet Plum, I'm just going to run this along the bottom lash line, keeping the focus to the outer portion of the eye. Next I'm going to be using our eyelash curlers to curl the lashes. Next I'm going to be using the HD Cream Liner in Aubergine. This is so that I can do a colourful mascara. I always like to make sure I'm rubbing them through the lashes to really coat them. Now I'm going to be moving on to skin, so I'm going to start by using the Shimmer & Events foundation in Pearl. I like to apply it on the higher points of the face, so this would be your cheekbones, your Cupid's bow, and also a little bit just on the very tip of the nose. Sometimes it's nice to add a little bit of the Shimmering Events foundation just to the temples, but make sure you keep away from the middle portion of the forehead. We don't want it to become sweaty looking. Next, I'm going to be using our Digital Complexion Fluid Foundation. Using a mixture of 2 colours, I'm going to bounce and stipple this across the entire face. I like to mix 2 different coloured foundations to find the perfect match. By using your Duo Fibre brush, you really are able to mimic the skin. I'm going to be using our Digital Complexion Concealer in 012. Lightly stippling just underneath the eyes to build up the pigment. Just be mindful that we've already applied some eyeshadow under the eyes and we don't want to take this off. To add a cream blush, I'm going to be using our Digital Complexion in its corrector shade DCN 45, mixed in with the Shimmering Events foundation in Pearl. I've already mixed them onto a palette and now I am just buffing this into the skin. I like to place down my colour first and then I will take my foundation brush and just blend them in together. This creates a really beautiful flush to the skin. To take away any unwanted shine, I'm going to be using the powders from Dual Finish. I like to take a little bit of shine just away from the T-zone on a light fluffy brush. Then I'll apply just a small amount of powder just to the middle point of the face. This is so you don't have a sweaty appearance and you have all the glow in the right places. I'm going to be using Blush Rose just on the cheeks to intensify the blush. I apply it to the highest points of the cheekbones and work my way down into the apples of the cheek. I'm lightly buffing on my colour and then blending it out. For brows, I'm going to be using our Eyebrow Powder palette in Brows 1. I like to start from the arch of the brow first and work my way out, taking any of the excess product into the middle portion of the brow. To give our brows structure and hold, I'm going to be using the Eyebrow Forming Gel. I'm just going to brush the brows up and tailor them out to the side. Next, I'm going to be using the Lipstick Velvet Kiss Wheel. I'm going to be using a mixture of Blush Rose and also Soft Petal. Thank you so much for watching our video. I really do hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. I know I did. I can't wait to see all of the questions coming in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel and I'll see you next time. Bye!